Hi everyone, this is Missy. Today I'm going to do an overview webinar for repagencyworks court reporting management software. We're a cloud-based software that handles everything you need to run your agency. Your calendars, scheduling, production, invoicing, everything. We'll start with logging into your account and the control you have over what each user can see and do. Users are anyone that you allow to log into the account, like your office staff, your reporters, or the attorneys and their staff. You can assign as many as you like. Each person is assigned their own unique name and password. Then you control what each one can see and do by assigning what we call rights. For instance, office managers can see and do everything. Billing is mostly your invoicing. Assistants are generally your schedulers, and reporters and attorneys can see only things that apply to them. During the presentation, I'll give you a quick preview of the software from both the attorney and reporter's viewpoint. Now, once you log in, the software will always take you to today's date first. Before I go any further, you should know that the reason each user has their own unique password and name is not only for security purposes, but also for administrative tracking. The software will automatically record the main activities made by an administrative user. For instance, we can see by my initials here that I sent these emails on February 1st. I can see what was included in the email, its attachments, what time it was sent, and from which IP address it originated. Once you've logged in, you'll immediately have an idea of what's going on for the day. You'll be able to see your job status, confirmed, unconfirmed, canceled, rescheduled. You'll also be able to see whether or not the notice has been received. It puts a little N next to the job. There are multiple options for color coding, or you can not color code at all. And reporter availability here up at the top are for scheduling purposes. I'll show you that in a moment. And reporter acknowledgments just puts a little person next to the name so you can see at a glance that your reporter knows about the job and plans to be there. As far as tasks, due dates, and events, I'll go over those in a moment, but basically everything is readily visible from the initial login screen. Navigating through the calendar is easy with different view options such as daily or weekly in a list format, or monthly where you can hover over the job to view its details. Simply click on Today Is to return to today's date, or enter specific dates here in the Jump To box for back orders or scheduling jobs well into the future. If you'd like to view specific jobs, for instance only upcoming trials or what a certain law firm or reporter has, just choose from the many preferences here on the right. One of those is branches, so if your agency has multiple locations, you can keep track of jobs for each branch. When adding a new job to the calendar, some of you may be using a software that requires you to enter each field on a separate screen, which can be very time-consuming, especially if you need to add a new attorney or a case style on the fly. Our job entry is done here on one screen, where you can also attach your notices or other documents and assign your reporters, location, and add any other necessary notes about the job. I'd like to show you just how quick this process can be. Even with extra notes, it only takes a few seconds. First, choose your date and time, then enter a few letters of an existing attorney's name or case style, and it will autofill for you. Again, if you need to add a new attorney or case style on the fly, you can certainly do that right here without exiting the job or starting all over again. There's an unlimited amount of witness tracking, job location assignments, reporter assignments, and for things you do regularly, they're customized job options. Create them one time, and in the future just check mark the ones you need. The job screen is also where you'll upload any notices, exhibits, or other documents associated with the job or the case in general. You control who has access to each document, and as you'll see, each document is directly associated with the job for easy reference and search capabilities. You have options for tracking additional attendees, like opposing counsel or others that need to be accounted for. Click here for reporter acknowledgments, and as I mentioned earlier, it'll put a little person next to their name. You also have the ability to print or email job information, and RAW will automatically generate the email addresses to all of those involved, so you just check mark the ones you want to send out. There are fields where you can enter and track due dates for every witness and stage of the job, including read-and signs. There's virtually no way to miss a due date. It appears on the job screen where you first entered it, and on the top of your calendar, and in a daily work in progress report. Either you as an administrator or your reporters, if you allow them to, can record their availability from one quick screen. Just choose the reporter name, enter the dates, time, and reason if you like, update to save your changes. Then it will appear at the top of your schedule for easy reference when scheduling upcoming jobs, and it's also available to you in report form. Events are designed for meetings, appointments, or reminders about things that are not necessarily related to a case. It could be a doctor's appointment that you'd like to keep private, which is another reason why it's important for every person to have their own username and password. Private events would only appear on your own counter. Our task section is designed to operate as an interoffice memo board. It's not for your attorneys or your resources, it's just for immediate staff members. Simply create your task and assign it to the person you want, and it will appear on both yours and their screen awaiting completion or comment. Let's take a look at case management. On each case tab there are 3 subsections. The first contains the general information, including a place to enter invoice details that you might want printed on your invoices, for instance insurance claim numbers. There are also case notes. You may want to keep track of exhibit binders or potential trial dates. These notes will appear on the sidebar throughout the software when you're working in that case. The second subsection is a quick reference of all the job dates and invoices that have been created in that particular case. Lastly is the document sharing console, where you can grant or deny access to the case documents and exhibits. Let's take a closer look at that area. I'll go here to a master case list and choose a sample case. As you can see, it contains the general information, the invoicing details, and in-house notes pertaining to the case. You can create your own case groups like criminal, corporate, workers' comp, whatever you need. There's also an option to track your cases that are affiliated with a specific contract like an insurance company or the Department of Justice, for example. Next is a list of all the job dates and invoices in the case. And finally is my favorite part. It's called the document sharing console. All of the attorneys involved in the case will be listed on the left, and all of the job dates and documents will appear on the right. You can see the names of those with access under each document name. It appears in purple. With a simple check mark, you can grant or deny access to all or select documents in just a matter of seconds. You have complete control over who has access to each document. Our Client tab is generic for any contact, such as your firms, attorneys, conference centers, courthouses or meeting locations, and referral agencies. You can search for and create a new client here on the Master Client tab. You'll enter your basic information here, like the address, phone number, website, email addresses. Now add as many attorneys as you like, with plenty of fields for detailed information. The same goes for assistants. And you can assign special pricing to each firm, and you can allow them to log in to view their calendar and repository items. For instance, a senior partner might need access to everyone in the firm, while an associate only needs to see his own calendar. A paralegal might work for multiple attorneys and need information for all of them. You can create group invoices for trials or multiple day deposition. And here's a quick reference to the firm's billing and job history, along with documents and notes that apply to the firm as a whole. Attorneys and their staff have a much more limited view of the software and will only have access to the things that apply to them or things that you've specifically allowed. They view their calendar just like an administrator, a daily view, weekly view, or the monthly, where they can hover over it. They can view the job's basic information and any documents that you've granted access. You may have dozens of documents right here, but they're only going to see the ones that you've specifically granted access to. From the same screen, they can fill out the necessary information and request a transcript, and you will immediately be notified via email. The same goes for requesting a reporter. Everything can be done right here from one screen, which cuts down on the phone calls back and forth. There's a master list here of all their jobs and cases. And finally, the only report they really need to see is a statement of how much they owe you, along with copies of their invoices. Resources are considered the individuals assigned to the job and those that you will ultimately be paying. They're your reporters, videographers, scopists, proofers, interpreters, or salespeople, for instance. There's some global privileges that apply to all resources, but you can allow or disallow other privileges based on the individual resource. For example, you may have a senior reporter that you trust to log in and handle everything related to his or her job, but a new reporter fresh out of school that requires a little more limitation. You have control over what each one can and cannot do. We'll look at an example of what a reporter with the most access can see in just a minute. Over here on the right, you can assign special rates to each resource and choose how and when you'd like to pay them. Some agencies pay immediately, some only when the attorney has paid the actual bill, and others are paid on a specific schedule. You have several options here. The bottom area on the right pertains to transcripts, so if you decide to use our transcript production feature, we can import your reporter's signature or notary block directly into the transcript. Here's a brief look of what a reporter might see when they log in. Like an attorney, the resources access is much more limited than an administrator. When they click on their job, they can view the basic information and any special notes from you. We recommend that they acknowledge their jobs, which puts a little person next to their name for easy reference. They can enter notes to you or estimated pages here on this tab. Or on the Documents tab, this is where they can upload any text files, exhibits, transcripts, whatever is needed. And once uploaded, you have complete control over who has access to those documents. There are so many different options about how to invoice that I would literally still be talking at midnight, but it's important to know that you can create as many rate sheets as you like. You may need a standard rate sheet or special ones that apply to only certain clients, or specific contract rate sheets, or a different rate sheet for each and every one of your resources. It's completely up to you. Creating an invoice is done right here from the job screen, which ensures that it'll be associated with the correct job every time. You also have options to choose what you'd like to appear on your invoices. Again, there are a lot of options to choose from. You have the ability to charge interest or late fees as well as sales tax if needed. Choose what information you want your invoices to include, like messages or credit card vouchers. Send out past dues. They're called rebills. Lots of different options here. There are over 40 standard reports covering everything from billing to statements and past dues, marketing, payroll, deposits, and more. I'll touch on just a couple of them in this short video. Some of the more common ones are billing and billing profit reports. There's also top client and client list reports in various formats that can be used for creating labels or email lists that you might want to use in another software like MailChimp or GetResponse. There's a report for virtually anything you need to run your agency, but we're always open to suggestions and can usually create any custom report that you might need. I consider this next report one of the most important and useful reports for keeping track of your jobs. It's called the Work in Progress, and it's a summary of the status of each job that still requires some sort of action. Jobs that have outstanding due dates or have yet to be invoiced will appear in red. You have some control over what you'd like the report to reflect as well. It can be viewed by date, or by due date, or by individual reporter. Remember, I showed you earlier that each reporter can view their own progress report, so between you, your staff, and the reporters, nothing should slip through the cracks. We have a transcript production feature which is optional and only $50 a month for as many transcripts as you can produce. You can upload your text file and then create individual files only, or create a single bundle that contains whatever you like. Your full, condensed, word index, word search. You can attach exhibits or other documentation as well, and hyperlinking is also available. Once created, transcripts, just like invoices and other documents, are directly related to a job via the job number. We use TC PDF and DOM PDF for our transcript creation behind the scenes, which is always current and compatible with Adobe products. We can import your logo here and design your bundle cover page if you like. Recipients of your transcripts can use the free Adobe Reader to open, highlight, copy, paste, and comment on transcripts. It's much more convenient than requiring them to download an eViewer on each device. The Utilities tab is where you choose all of your default settings for the software, and it's also where you'll create your own custom messages and letter templates. There are many areas of the software that are customizable. An example might be job categories such as depositions, trials, or workers' comp hearings. Maybe your agency primarily handles site inspections or EUOs, so your tabs may need to reflect different titles. You can name those along with your document tabs however you wish. There's no limit to the number of custom email messages or letter templates you can create. We also provide an extensive list of operands that you can incorporate into your messages or templates to automatically pull in the job information you want. repagencyworks is designed for use on desktops and laptops. However, it is functional on your cell phones, iPhones, iPads, smartphones, and tablets. We find that it works best on both Apple and Android products by using the Dolphin web browser app. Data security is a top priority at repagencyworks. All data is stored and backed up daily at two separate HIPAA high-tech compliant COLA facilities. One's located in Birmingham and the other in Jackson, Mississippi. We also strive to meet what the industry refers to as the 4 nines. This means we aim to ensure a level of uptime at 99.99%. We're well within that standard every year and actually much closer to achieving the 5 nines. Let me explain. So when a business provider like Google Apps or Microsoft Office 365 offers you a 99.9 uptime guarantee, that could certainly sound like it's reliable enough until you do the math. What they're really telling you is that over the course of a year you can expect to be down for between 8 and 9 hours. repagencyworks has consistently, year after year, provided between 4 and 5.9 uptime. I consider our training and customer support to be our greatest advantage over the other management softwares out there. All training and support is included in the price of the software, and we're available to you by phone, email, and webinars, along with both written and instructional videos located on the Help tab. Take a second to read some of the comments from our current clients. If you're struggling with the idea of making a change, starting over with repagencyworks certainly doesn't have to be a stressful experience. In most cases, we're able to import your existing data, like a client list or a calendar, from, say, Outlook, QuickBooks, Analyzer, or RB. You provide your data to us in the proper format and we'll do the rest. There's also fields for you to enter your old job numbers or invoice numbers for easy reference. I know I covered a lot of information very quickly today, and there's so much more that I could show you, but I'm about to wrap up, so if you're on the fence, we'd like to offer you a free trial account so you can check us out for yourself. There's no obligation, there's no credit card required, and there's no risk to you whatsoever. You'll have full access to the software, including the transcript production feature and customer support. Listen, I'd love to see all of you come running to repagencyworks, but I totally get it. There's times I'd rather stick a hot fork in my eye than do something new. And the thought of change can be so overwhelming, but we're here to help you through the transition, and we'll be here for whatever you might need afterward. You're always going to be busy, and much like going to the gym, at least for me anyway, there's always a reason to put it off. But sometimes the path of least resistance actually costs you time and money. repagencyworks could be just the answer you're looking for. All right, let's get down to it. First of all, there's no contract with repagencyworks, and remember, with all the plans, you have an unlimited number of people that can log in. Our pricing is based on the number of resources being tracked. We offer 3 different plans. The basic plan is $50 a month, which allows up to 5 resources. The next is our standard plan for $100 a month, allowing up to 50 resources. And finally is the Pro plan for $150 a month with unlimited resources. You can start wherever you like and upgrade at any time with no interruption in service. The setup fee of $2,000 is good for the life of your account. It's one time only and covers your initial account setup, importation of any client lists, calendars, and rate sheets, along with importation and placement of your logo on your login screen, invoices, letterhead, and transcripts. More importantly, it includes all of your training and full customer support for as long as you use repagencyworks. Finally, and then I promise I'm done, is the WIIFM. What's in it for me? What's in it is the opportunity to achieve what everybody really wants when it comes down to it, and that's more time and more money. More time for yourself, more time with your family, and more money to do the things you want. Nobody wants to be a slave to their own agency. Let the software work for you. If you'd love to be out in the field reporting, but you're buried in hours of back office work, then Raw can be for you. Maybe you enjoy managing the business more than the actual reporting side of it, and if so, then Raw is definitely for you. Send your reporters out there and make the system work for you so you and your agency can prosper at the rate you want it to. Organization is always the key. It's easy to understand why people who are more in control of their work are less stressed, happier people. Happier people are more productive and profitable. Working smarter and making more money while you're at it gives you the freedom to do what you want when you want. Rep Agency Works provides you with all the tools to do just that.